Hey guys, how's it going? How is your thirsty Thursday? Welcome to ZFM Direct Access. My name is Lady K. Hope I find you well. I do always say that I do these shows primarily so I can speak to different personalities from Africa, but I thought let's do something a little bit different and take a trip all the way to America and speak to one of R&B's finest artists. He goes by the name of Jay Holiday, and he's so prompt to it. Hope you guys well, Mr. Holiday.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm cool, I'm cool. It's afternoon here, so it's my day's just getting started actually.
Oh wow. Well, it's 7 p.m. down this side.
Okay, okay.
Have you ever been to Africa?
I have. I've been to Nigeria. We went to Abuja.
Oh wow, when was that?
This maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah.
How did you enjoy it?
I did. This group of guys, the Play Nigeria Network, they brought me out there.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lady K, from Zimbabwe. You've heard of
Okay.
Zim, yes?
Oh yeah, 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 I definitely have, of course.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. So what I basically wanted you to on my show was just to have a bit of a chat with you about where you started. You're very popular here in Zimbabwe, like everybody literally knows all your songs. So I thought, why not give them a musical journey of who you are, where you started, and where you currently are. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So let's start from the beginning. You were born where exactly?
Washington D.C. Where the nation's capital is, what the White House and all, that's how people know it. The White
Okay,
House,
what was it
home of
like?
the White House.
What was it like growing up in DC?
It was cool. It's a really it's a multicultural type of place. You have Maryland, you have Virginia, have D.C. That's why we call it the DMV. But I don't know. It's just different. We have our own style of music, which is go-go, which is a lot of live instrumentation. And then also we have a lot of celebrities like actors and actresses and as well as singers that have come out of DC. So, I mean, it was very, I guess that you could say inspiring, for somebody that has the talent like I have to see all of the possibilities of people coming out of there and actually being successful. So, I mean, it was pretty inspiring.
Okay, nice. So, childhood. What were you
Yeah,
like as a child? Were you a
I was
rebellious
bad.
child?
No, I wasn't
Were you
bad.
shy?
I was
Or were
very
you
shy.
like,
Very shy. I was shy up until I was about 14, which is actually when I finally decided to actually pursue music. So, yeah, I don't know. My mom is a preacher, so she raised us in the church.
okay,
And so for the most part, like my dad died when I was 11. So after that, I kind of like really attached myself to my mom. I was like always up under her and stuff like that. So I was a bit of a mama's boy for a little while,
wow,
and shy and just I don't know. I was always to myself, I guess, because I'm the only boy. I'm the youngest. So other than seeing my cousins, my male cousins and stuff like on vacation or summer vacation and all of that, I was just really around my mom a lot. So
what kind of music were you listening to at home? Like, what music was your mom playing at home?
I was about to say, what kind of music was I listening to, or what kind of music was she playing?
Okay, let's start with mom. What was mom listening? What did you grow up around? Then we're gonna move to you.
um, just I mean, she would play a lot of gospel. Every
Okay.
now and then, maybe some Marvin Gaye or, she didn't play too much secular music. At that time, she was just like really, really deep in the ministry and church and stuff like that. So I mean,
Okay.
as the years got older and she saw what my interests were, she started kind of like listening to more and playing more. But yeah, I was sneaking off listening to all the stuff I wasn't supposed to be listening to. You know, all the songs with the cuss words in it and all of that stuff.
Okay, okay. So when did you discover that you could sing?
Well, I knew long before I decided to pursue it. You know, I could say I was about maybe 9 or 10. My older sister sung, so it was just kind of natural. And my mom also, you know, she had a singing group, a gospel singing group with her sisters, and
Oh, okay.
so we just kind of always knew I could. But for me, it was just fun. It was like, you know, I had a lot of older male cousins. They were like teenagers at the time, like, you know, 14, 15. So they're like, my little cousin can sing. So they were always getting me to sing for the girls they liked in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So I always
Okay.
knew, you know, but I didn't think nothing of it, you know, as that young. I didn't really think nothing of it.
Okay. So you mentioned something that when you were 14,
Mhm.
um, is that when you eventually like, okay, let me start taking this seriously? Or was that when you like, okay, I can actually sing, I can actually do something?
Um, no, it was more so taking it serious. You know, I was going to the school at one point, this Forestville High School. I was in ninth grade, and
Okay.
the class sponsor, she was basically like put in charge of making sure all the ninth graders stayed in line, you know. But I also, she was one of my teachers as well. So I was in class, and she was just like, okay, for any students that want to be a part of this Black History Month show, um, you know, basically sign up and blah blah blah. And so everybody started pointing at me like he can sing, he can sing, he can sing. And I'm like, nah, what are y'all doing? Like I don't want to sign up for the show, you know. And she made me sign up. And she basically threatened my grade. She said, if you don't sign up, I'm gonna fail you in my class. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. I mean, and of course as a kid you think a teacher can really do that, but she was just basically, you know, forcing me to do the show. So I did the show, and just the response that I got from everybody was, it's like that. They say you get a taste of the drug and you're hooked. Like that. I was
Yep.
hooked after that. You know, I was hooked.
Okay. Then what happened? Because the minute you into something and then you're like, okay, I think I can do something with it. What was the next step?
So then we moved, and I ended up going to another high school where I just kind of became because so I came from a school that had all of the after school programs for like dancers and singers and actors and stuff like that. And so at the new school that I was going to, they didn't have any of that. You know, it was just simple, you know, football, basketball, baseball, you know, the sports and stuff like that. They didn't have any kind of performing arts after school programs. So as
Okay.
just me being the type of person that my mother raised me to be, I made them create one, you know, and it was called the Film and Production Club. You know, so
Okay.
basically what we would do is we would put on like variety shows and talent shows and stuff like that. So that's when I actually started like organizing little groups in school and stuff like that. And it just, I stuck with it, you know, and, you know, it felt good to actually create something at a school, which I'm pretty sure that they still have the club at the school. You know, because I mean, it's everybody that goes to school doesn't necessarily want to play sports, or they don't want to be
True.
a cheerleader, or you know, sometimes you have to give the kids like me something else to do after school, or we're not going to do anything but go get in trouble. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it felt good to be able to create something like that, and I guess in creating that, it showed me that I had the capabilities of being a leader and taking it serious. You know, so.
Wow. So I know Jay Holiday is not your, is that your actual name?
No, it's just my stage name.
So okay, when was Jay Holiday born? When did he come out? Like when you're like, okay, this is the one, let's do this,
um,
let's go on.
honestly, right before we dropped the album, like I probably didn't have a
Really?
stage. Yeah, I probably didn't have a stage name until we literally were about to drop the album. And
Is this your first album? Back of the
yeah,
Lag?
yeah,
So what were you
yeah.
going before that? What were you called by? Like what were people calling you?
I was using the name that I had in my group, which was Amari.
Omar.
Yeah, and of course, you have a Marion, so they was like, you can't use that, and yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, before we go forward, you mentioned something about being in a group. Talk to me about this group because I was watching this interview with The Dream, and he was saying that he actually knew you from this group. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the group is called 295, which is a highway back home in DC, and
Okay.
we just basically we moved to Atlanta and just started jumping into the industry and just getting different writers to write for us, and um, just I guess we were thrown to the wolves, I guess you can say, because I mean, we had experience from doing what we did back home, but that was just us doing talent shows and trying to write songs and recording songs and stuff like that. But we weren't writing the caliber of things that, came out in the industry. So now we're around writers like Dream and JQ and Adonis Shropshire and different people that have definitely like won awards and stuff, like Jonte Austin. So we're just thrown in and we're just like, man, we either have to step up to the plate or you know what I mean? So I was very influential in the group as being like one of the writers, the lead singer. So I always kind of built relationships with all of these people, like the Dream and so on, So yeah, he definitely he wrote some stuff for the group. I'm not sure that what he wrote made our demo, but yeah, he definitely had been into the studio with us, and we were recording at the studio that he recorded at the time. So
Okay, okay. So, what was it like working with The Dream? I mean, I think even us back home here, he's arguably one of the biggest producers, songwriters that we all know. Having
mhm.
first-hand experience of working with him, what was it like?
um very energetic. It's funny, like you would have to be in the studio with Dream to really understand what I'm saying, but just very energetic. And the way he writes, you'll never know what the song is going to sound like until he actually finishes the song, because he doesn't necessarily just start with the lyrics. Like he might just start with a word. Like, you know what? I'm going to write the entire song around this word. And
Oh, wow.
for example, bed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how he is. Just very energetic, good energy. Some writers aren't as energetic. Some producers aren't as energetic. Like he makes it, his own party.
Wow, wow. Okay, so let's get to the music now.
hmm
Um, your first project. Who produced it? How did it come about? And who did you work with?
Um, for my first album.
Yes, your first album, your first project. Yes.
So I already had Fatal, which was on the first album. That's actually my group. Like that's 295. I just decided to keep that song because it worked so well with what I was already doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had that, and that was written by JQ, which he was a part of this writing group called The Clutch, along with Carrie Hilson and a few other people. And so I worked with him. I definitely worked with Carrie. I worked with Carrie Hilson. Nothing that we wrote together made the album, but I worked with her. I worked with Adonis, who got me in touch with Rodney Jerkins, Darkchild, um,
Wow.
Donnie Scantz. Uh, Let me see what other producers did I work with. I worked with Balewa, which was also a part of The Clutch. He wrote Thug Commandments. Um, and what's funny is Thug Commandments was originally written for Jaheim. So yeah, it's just weird how the industry works. Every song that you hear, 9 times out of 10 was meant for somebody else first. You know, so
Wow. Okay. So when your first project dropped, okay, well the second one, I guess, when you're Jay Holiday, you released quite a number of singles that were hits. What was it like? Were you expecting that? Were you taken aback? How were you feeling at that particular time?
um, I mean, I think it's just kind of the feeling of I finally made it. Like it's when you're chasing it, it's always I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. But once you actually do it, it's like, oh man, I actually did it, So it was definitely a an eye opener, a life changer, We were already moving around the song "Be With Me" before we got Bed, and then when Bed hit, it's like my life totally, completely changed, So um, yeah, it's a different feeling. I to this day, I'm still like taken aback by it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still a fan of a lot of the people that I was listening to growing up, but now they're my friends, they're my peers. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually like I'm talking to Carl Thomas on the phone. You know what I mean? Like what's up, bro? That like it's so I'm still like in awe about it. Because everybody doesn't get the opportunity to sit where I'm sitting. So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So after that, Grammy nomination,
Uh huh.
how was that? Okay, can I ask you something? Sorry, before you
For
answer.
sure.
How did they tell you that you've been nominated? Do they call you? Do they call your manager? Do they send you a text, an email? How does it work?
I think at the time they sent the message through Capitol, the label,
Okay.
and then the label called my manager, and yeah, I mean my manager at the time, I had a different manager than I do now. Corey Green. He called me and was like, "Yo, you got to get over here right now." And I was like, "What? Like, what's wrong?" Like he made me feel like I did something wrong. He's like, "Man, just hurry up. Just come to the crib." So I went to the crib and he was like, "Yo, you got nominated for a Grammy." I'm like, man, stop playing. Like in my mind, I'm like, whatever, dude. I didn't get nominated for a Grammy. He was like, yeah, yo, you did it. And that was really the moment when I was like, I did it. I made it. It wasn't Bed coming out. It wasn't any of those things. It wasn't being mentioned by Billboard magazine saying that I broke a 10-year Michael Jackson record. It was none of those things. But when I got that Grammy nomination, it was like, wow, I actually did it. Because that's the industry saying you did it. Like
Yeah.
the Grammys is voted on and decided by your peers in the industry. So when the industry said that I was doing something right, that's when I felt like I made it. Yeah.
You made history with that nomination. What happened exactly?
With that nomination, um, basically not too many male artists, get nominated for a Grammy on their first album. So I think that was Dream's first album. That was my first album. And also with Bed was the fastest moving single to number one since Scream by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. So I mean, when you get that kind of news, it's like Michael Jackson, really? Seriously? Okay, cool.
Wait, so you beat Michael Jackson's record or you're second from him?
My single, like the single
Yeah.
Bed, was the fastest moving single to number one in 10 years. And the only single that did that at the time, I don't, maybe another song has broken that record by now, but the only single at the time that had done that was Scream by Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Now, did you at any point when you're growing up in DC, in your group, did you ever think that was something that was ever gonna happen?
I mean, you have to believe that it's gonna happen. I
Yeah.
believe that it was gonna happen. There were times when you get told no so many times that you're just like, am I wasting my time? Like, should I
Right.
should I figure something else out? So there's those moments of self-doubt, that you just feel like maybe I chose the wrong career. But but you always want to believe that
Of course.
that it's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Wow, amazing. Right. So after that, you shot up to success. Then you came up with the
Hmm.
second project.
Yeah.
What was that project called, and how did that compare to your first one? Because obviously now that you've made such a mass success, the
Hmm.
pressure is on you to continue with that. So, what
Yeah.
was the second project like after that?
Okay. It's funny. So because I'm talking to you, but I'm also reading the comments at the same time. So there's a whole conversation about me being a one-hit wonder, right? So
Okay.
let me explain the process of what happened. So round two, this is my second album right here, round two. Um,
Okay.
And great album with super dope songs on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I had Rick Ross on the album before he was Ricky Rose. You know what I mean? It's Yours, Fall, you know. And just the process with that was I started going through a lot of mishaps with the label. You know what I mean?
Capital.
And right. Capitol
Okay.
Records was going through their own inner problems with, you know, just departments and people being fired and hired and new people coming in trying to, I guess, fix a problem that I didn't have. You know, oftentimes when new people get hired, they want to come in and change things to how they see that they want it to be done. You know, and a lot of those things I just wasn't feeling. You know, it's just like we've already had the success. Why can't you just let us do what we've been doing because it's been working for us? You know,
Yeah.
and they just weren't having it. So they didn't give me the push on my second album on purpose because they wanted to see me fail. You understand what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it's just like, I don't think it was the fact that they didn't think the music was good. It's just, they were just like, we're going to show him he needs us. When, in a sense, when you're signed to a major label, how they run things, that's how it works. You know what I mean? You need them to be behind you. Like, if the label's not behind you, you will fail. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's just basically what happened, you know, and you know, I roll with the punches and I'm still here.
Okay. So the second album, round two, was that under Capital, or had you left them, or you
No, that
had
was
to complete a certain amount of projects with them?
no, that was under Capitol. It was just a lot of things that happened in the process of making the album and me delivering the album to the label. And I guess for them I just had too much knowledge of the game. And you know, I said this in a recent interview where they love the artist to be dumb. They want the artist to be dumb. Just do the songs, get on stage. That's what they want you to do. Do the songs and get on stage. And I wasn't that type of artist. You know, I was the type of artist that knew my business. I knew my contracts. I knew what they were responsible for and what they weren't responsible for. And they just didn't like that.
Okay. Okay. It's very interesting that you say that. So when it now comes to like other artists, let's say when you came out in that particular time, there were obviously a lot of artists that were, you're all on the same, wavelength. And
For
then
sure.
because of the technicalities that happened within your label, you felt like, I can't do this, it's not me, and you pushed back. However, the ones that maybe went through with their labels and did what the
Hmm.
label did and now at a high level, do you ever look back on that and say, maybe I should have? Or you are still saying, I need to constantly just be true to myself. I couldn't do that. It's not me. I don't believe in that. Those are not my values. Has there ever been at
Um,
any point where you wish, like, maybe I should have just said or did what they said I should do?
no, I to this day, I'm who I am. You know, my journey is my journey. You know, my journey is not going to be
Right.
like everybody else's journey. And when you do whatever the label tells you to do, you're selling your soul. You're no
To the
longer
devil!
you're
Yes.
she said to the devil. You're no longer an individual. You know what I'm saying? Now you're just a sheep to the
Yeah.
shepherd. You know what I mean? My mom raised me to be a shepherd, not a sheep. You understand
Uh,
what I'm saying? So they didn't understand my mental process when it came to that. You know, so my thought process was, if my journey is going to be harder because I'm sticking to my guns and I still have my dignity, and you know, I still can look in the mirror in the morning, then I'll do that. You
okay.
know,
Okay.
and there's nothing wrong with doing what the label asks you to do. Everybody's not going to be the same. You know what I
Sure.
mean? That's just what it is. Some people will do whatever it takes to stay on that screen, and that's just not me. Because you have to undercut people. You have to, you essentially have to do dirty business to stay on that screen consistently. You have to do dirty business. There's no other way. There's no other way to do it in this industry.
Wow.
That's just how it works. You know what I mean? And that's not to throw anybody under the bus for the people that stay on the screen, but that's just what it is. And I just, I believe in myself and I love who I am. You know what I mean? I can sleep at night. So I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. So obviously, round two wasn't as big as you'd wanted it to be.
For sure.
Third project,
That was guilty conscience and that was just a bad business decision on my
that
part.
it was removed off online. You couldn't get it online. What happened?
People are trying to sabotage me. I don't know. You know what I mean? But you have to bring light to these things. If things like this don't happen to artists like me, you'll never know that it happens. You understand? So, like I said, that was just a bad business decision. And some people just will never. I wanted to see change in somebody that I just knew wasn't going to change. And I should have went with my first gut. But instead, I tried to see the good in somebody, and they showed me exactly who they were, which is the same person that they had always been. And it just ended up
Uh-huh.
being a bad business decision on my part. Good music. Anybody can always say you can go listen to any of my albums. And I've always been consistent musically. So whether the world hears it or not, I'm always comfortable with what I decide to put out. So it's
Okay.
like the music is going to speak for itself. You just have people that are naturally haters. They're like this person in the chat, right? Their parents were probably haters. They married each other and had him or her. That's just what it is. It's in their blood. They can't help it. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I love my journey. My journey has been good.
Yeah.
And Guilty Conscience was a great album. Round Two was a great
It really
album.
was.
Back of My Lack was a great album. So to me, I'm satisfied. I'm content with what I'm doing. And then this new album, Time, is going to prove to the world what it's always been. So
Okay, so let's talk about this new album.
mhm.
Let's first of all talk about the title.
Time.
What are you trying to say? The title of the album.
Basically, it has it's multi, like there's so many different meanings to it.
Okay.
It's meaning live, because time waits for nobody.
Right.
There were times where I was in my feelings about stuff and just upset with the industry and upset with the music industry, and I took that hiatus. But guess what? Time didn't stop. Time kept going. You know what I mean? So I didn't do anything but hurt myself in that process. You know, and it's just me saying I'm ready to do the time. I always talk about the music industry being somewhat like being in prison. They tell you when to eat, they tell you when to sleep, they tell
Yeah.
you how to live, they tell you what to think, and it's like, okay, I'll do the time. You know what I'm saying? And instead, I'll be the pod boss. I'll do the time. It's cool. I'll do the time, and it's just learning how to live and just learning how to be content with where you are in life. And whether it's in love, relationships, work, or if it's just your mental health, just live, because the time is on nobody's side. Time just keeps going. The sun rises and sets every day. It's not gonna stop. So,
That's so
it's
true.
it's it's just living, man. That's all.
Time waits for no man. You
Right.
know, you have to
Time waits for no
continuously,
man.
exactly. You have to actually continuously just move, keep moving. The minute you stop, the world doesn't stop for you. It goes
Right.
past you. So you gotta keep moving. That's so dope. Now, who's on the project?
Me.
It's just you,
I've
the entire
I've
thing.
I've never. I mean, I have a couple features of some new artists that I like to showcase. Josh Waters, a female artist named Ray, my little brother Rico Anthony. I'm just trying to showcase other artists that people may not know about, or that people just don't have that much information about. But no, I've always tried to have my projects be me. Like, people don't buy your album to hear your feature. And if they're only buying your album to hear your feature, then they're not buying the album to hear you. You
That's
understand?
true.
So so yeah, it's me 100%. And I didn't want it to seem like, because I've been gone so long, that I'm just using features to get people to pay attention to me. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
don't feel like features are necessary for your album. You know, I know a lot of people want to see features, but you can do features for different projects and different reasons. It doesn't have to be on your album, you know.
That's true. That's true. Okay. When is this coming out?
So the album will be out late spring, early summer. We still waiting to slate a date for an exact date, which we'll have like in a week or so. Ride is out now. You can also check out 25 to Life, which is also on the album. Feels like shouts out to Milk and Says. I'm not sure if they're in the room today, but yeah, man, it's coming. You know, I mean, I'm just really, I think at this point, really realizing what my position in the music industry is,
Okay.
and that's to be the advocate for artists like myself that feel like I should not have to change to share my gift with the world. You know, and in anything anybody does, there's going to be haters, and you just
Of
have
course.
to overlook them. And usually, the loudest hater in the room is probably your biggest fan, and they just don't know how to say that.
That is
for
so
exa-
true.
for example, you understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, that's pretty dope. So, with the new single that's dropped, Ride,
mhm.
I know it's pretty self-explanatory, but just take me through it. I
It is.
don't, I
It's
don't have to
very
ask much, you know what
self-explanatory.
I mean? But okay, that's your first single of your upcoming project.
It's
Why
my
did you release?
first original single, but we released 25 to Life a while back.
Oh,
But go
okay.
ahead. I'm sorry.
So, uh, talk me through it. What were you thinking when when you were making that song?
Um, just trying to and not to take anything, because I know when I talk like this, some people are like, "Oh, he's hating." Like, just trying to give people a a feeling of real R&B again. You know,
Okay.
of the bedroom. You know, of real sensual. You know, love. You know what I mean? You know, you have the songs out now, but they're almost trap. It's almost like trap R&B. You know. And I'm R&B to the core. So
Yeah,
I just wanted them to know that there are still artists around here that believe in R&B. I'm a believer in R&B to the day I die. I feel like, I mean, R&B started it all, you know.
exactly.
So it's just thinking about the love. Like you said, it's self-explanatory, you know. We're just trying to get people back to making love and not just having sex. You
Okay,
know what
okay.
you know what I mean?
So a question that actually popped up on one of the on the chat was, are you independent now?
Yes, I am independent. Yep.
Okay, okay, okay. That's dope. That's dope. Right. So a few other people came on and they didn't believe you're the actual Jay Holiday. So I think the only way that you can prove to everybody here is to actually sing bed. Like you have to do it. Literally the
She
only
said you
way
have to.
that I can shut everybody down. I'm like, yo guys, I spoke to Jay Holiday and he sang for me. So yeah, we gotta put some naysay to the haters. Put them down. Show
I
them who
got you.
you really are.
Go change into that Victoria's Secret thing that I like. All right, okay, tonight you're having me your way. Perfume, spray it there, put out love in the air. Now put me right next to you. Finna raise the temp in the room. First rub my back like you do right there. Right there. You touch me like you care.
Oh wow, thank you so much. Oh,
No problem,
woo,
no
that was
problem.
amazing. That was amazing. So when you go to the supermarket, the girls say, "Oh my God, that's Jay Holiday." Do you still get
Before the pandemic. See, now I have my mask on, so they can't tell. Now,
oh no, they can't
it's
see
like
your
this. Now,
face.
yeah, they can't see me now.
But
But
before,
no,
like,
I honestly no. Because I'm just so laid back. I feel like I usually have on like my hoodie or something, you know. And so I don't. I
um,
make myself small when I'm in
okay,
public.
okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like I move very direct and eyes straight and headphones in. So a lot of people want to be seen. That's the only time I get a chance to be out and just get some air without my bodyguard slows in the room. It's just, yeah, it has happened though. I mean, but when that happens, you just gotta you gotta be there for the fans. I know so many people like, yo, I'm out in public, leave me alone. Like you just can't be like that. Even if you feel like
Yeah.
that, you can't be like that.
Wow. Wow. So when obviously with the pandemic going on and everything, are there any plans to maybe do anything with anybody at this end, or maybe even to come down once things settle down?
Uh, I mean, yeah, I just needed to hurry up and go and leave because I mean, and it's not just for me. I just feel like
Yeah.
it's hurt a lot of people, their livelihood, and been just
Yeah.
being able to go to work and just live natural life. Sometimes getting outside and getting air will, can help you in so many ways. I just feel like like horrible mental health is at an all-time high right now.
Mm.
So I just I wish it for everybody, not just for myself.
Okay. So before you go, who are you currently listening to right now? Like, I can see you got your whole headphone thing. And I know you listen to a lot of music, but who are you listening to? Like, when you're in your own time, your own space, what sounds are inspiring you and the likes?
Honestly, just the same old school classics that I always listen to. Jodeci, Tupac. Um, I listen to J. Cole. I really like his Middle Child record. Um, Bruno Mars. Bruno. I like that last album he did. That was a jam for me. Um, Yeah, it just depends. And like like the writer just said myself, like I'm always critiquing myself, or I'm always anticipating dropping the music and making sure that like for me, if you get tired of yourself, then it's probably whack. And that's just how I feel. Because you listen to yourself all the time, you hear yourself all the time. So if it gets
Yeah.
old to you, then it's just kind of like we might need to try something different. But
Okay.
I think the album's pretty ready though. So lately, I've just been honestly just watching a lot of TV and catching up on TV shows and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, Jay Holiday, I must say your song "Bed" is a. This is like it's time now. This is the peak time. February. This is when it comes into play a lot. Especially in 12 days. It's gonna be a very big song on everybody's playlist.
For
Okay.
sure. And I need
Thank
them
you
to
so
play
much.
Ride right behind that.
Yes, we. Thank you so much for giving us timeless music. All the way in Zimbabwe, we love your music. We've been bumping to it. We love what you've been doing, and we are so excited to see what you've got for us in store this year. Obviously, a lot of things happened along the way, but hey, you know what? You literally said it yourself. The way music that's being made nowadays, it's okay. I'm an 80s baby, so that's I just listen to the old school music. I'm talking about the Genuine,
Right.
and all those other guys. So that's the kind of music that's engraved in my head. So what's
For
coming
sure.
out now, it's a little bit too different. So when your time came up and you came up with all that music, we're like, wow, this is really, really dope. This guy is really, really dope. Then you just went quiet. But now you're
Yeah.
back, which is
Yeah.
great.
Well, this is the
Which is
thing. I was never
great.
quiet. I was just I had on a disguise. That's all. That's
Yeah,
all.
well, you
That's
see,
all
that's
it
the thing,
was.
'cause we're so far, we only get bits and pieces of information. So it's just like, oh my gosh, is he alive? You know what I mean? So, but now we know and we understand. We understand what was happening. We understand what you went through. And, either way, we still appreciate you and we think we're a very, very dope artist.
Thank you so much. And my manager just said we need a show in Zimbabwe, so you might want
It'll
to
be sold out.
you might
Promise
want to
you.
get him on the DM and see if y'all got some promoters out there that want to make that happen.
I can definitely, definitely do that for you guys. Not a problem at all.
For sure. I appreciate you so much though.
Thank you so much, Mr. Holiday. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'm looking forward to time, and I'll definitely keep in touch with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Be well
All
yourself.
right, bless the day. Bye. Okay, so that was a very, very talented, absolutely amazing Jay Holiday. Like I did say towards the end, there's a lot of stuff that artists go through that we don't actually know, that we don't actually understand. And I think it's imperative that we hear their stories because people are like, no, he's a one-hit wonder, he fell off, he did this, he did that. But we don't understand what was happening behind the scenes. We had no idea. And I'm so grateful that he actually came through and he gave us a complete breakdown of what happened. And now we understand that the industry isn't as shiny and as bright as we all see it to be. I mean, I think that's what people always say. You should be very careful of wanting to be this huge famous celebrity, this huge superstar, because you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. What are these artists actually going through behind the scenes? And we try and discuss normal artists around us, the people that we can get direct access to. But then when you now look at artists all the way in America, where their industries are supposed to be like the best music industries, if they're having huge issues like that there, what's going to stop artists from within even Zimbabwe to go through the same thing? So I think it's a really good discussion that we need to have, that a lot of artists need to know that before you get into any contract, before you get into any signing or any deal, know what you're going to get into. Know that I can do this. No, I'm not about to do that, And luckily nowadays, we're blessed with so many different record labels. So you can actually pick, you can literally count the different ones depending on who can offer you what you want at that particular time. And I think artists need to know that. And I'm so glad Mr. Holiday actually mentioned that he's now, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's actually a blessing in disguise that he's now speaking on behalf of what he went through for other artists, not to be able to go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And bless him for that. It's unfortunate that he had to be the one that just had to be the scapegoat. But it's a great, great thing for artists to actually know. Shout out to you, Jay Holiday. Yeah, your song does a lot of things to a lot of girls, especially them. Myself included. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on another fine edition of ZFM Direct Access. My name is Lady K. As you guys know, I speak to great personalities all over. I can now actually say all over the world. Yes. Great personalities all over the world, and they tell us their great stories. That's what I basically try to do. I just try to find a way to get these artists to come through and just have a chat, relax. It's like just having a cup of coffee, where you just sit with your friend and just tell you how their day was and how they want to kill their boyfriend because he hasn't called, those type of conversations. And I'm really, really glad I had this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to speak to one of the greatest R&B artists in the world, Jay Holiday. I am going to save this, so you guys are more than welcome to watch it again. But till tomorrow, have yourself a very pleasant evening. Good night, and God bless. Goodbye.